Aloha, y'all. It is Sunday, ruled by the sun, Sunday, the 27th of March. The astrology is as follows. The sun is in Aries at 6 degrees, 47 minutes. The moon is in Aquarius at 6 degrees. Mercury has entered Aries, so it's a totally new kind of mental feel, very sharp and fast and action-oriented and hot and probably impulsive mental stuff's going on. But Mercury is now in Aries, not in the 5-degree orb with the moon, but will be shortly, maybe getting close to that. For a moment, Venus is at 20 degrees Aquarius. Mars is at 15 degrees 54 minutes Aquarius. Jupiter's at 20 degrees Pisces. Saturn is at 21 degrees Aquarius. Uranus is at 12 degrees Taurus. Neptune is 23 degrees Pisces. Pluto is at 28 degrees Capricorn. And the North Node is at 23 degrees Taurus. Today, on this Sunday, is a Sahasrara, or Crown Chakra Day. So this is kind of at the top of your skull, kind of your halo, if you want to put it like that. And keywords include beauty, creativity, and inspiration. Positive aspects are a reverence for all of life, self-sacrificing in the service of others, idealism, and ability to see the appropriate route for the benefit of the higher self. Negative aspects are having no concern for others, feelings of superiority, lack of contact with reality, kind of just off in your own world. Mantra is Om, which if you can tell, these are all little Om symbols, infinitely going on forever and ever, kind of the deal here in this holofractal matrix. The sensory experience is bliss. Spiritual activities include prayer, meditation, and reflection. Essential oils are violet, lavender, lotus. Plant is the lotus flower. Metal is platinum. The element is the cosmos. If you're going to be doing Om, which I've actually did today when I woke up at 5, I'm going to be waking up a little earlier to try to talk to my fiance a little earlier. Plus the sun is rising about 5:20, 5:30 here. The musical note is B, so Om in the key of B. Crystals are amethyst and alexandrite, and the soul lesson is to be at one with the source. At one-ment, atonement, right? So we're trying with the Sahasrara chakra to be like, it's all good, I'm exactly where I need to be, and I am the dreamer dreaming the dream on behalf, I'm the witness on behalf of the dreamer, kind of the little Buddha of the Atman kind of thing, Atman thing. So let's go ahead and pull some cards, shall we? Good morning to you too. Hopefully you're doing well. We have the Strength card. With Mercury going into Aries, with the moon in Aquarius, or rather Aries, I mean. We got a lot of fiery energy. Not surprising that lions are coming out. But this is not a suit card in a sense. This is not like a Four of Wands kind of thing. This is a major arcana card. The Strength card is the Leo card. So let's go ahead and see what this has to tell us. Trust yourself. Let your inner endurance shine. Use your power to embrace the amazing person within you. You have everything within to succeed, right? As within, so without. As above, so below. Om. Everything's awesome. Everything is awesome. I should remix that theme song. Strength. I face my fears with the strength of love and patience. With the moon in Aries and Mercury in Aries now also, we might have a real issue with... I keep saying moon is in Aries. It's in Aquarius. Gosh, I've got to wake up. The moon is in Aquarius, but Mercury is now in Aries. So we might be very, very quick to act, and we need to learn some patience here. So I face my fears with the strength of love and patience. What a true warrior would be. Aries, Sun, Mercury, Aries. While this card symbolizes strength, its nature is very different and in great contrast to the masculine counterpart of strength, which is the Chariot. Sheer determination and will are not wielded. Instead, the lions that symbolize our innate power and instincts, the frenzy and passion of our emotions, are tamed, as the dogs get all frenzied, are tamed by the calm, loving, and sure touch of the feminine and purity of heart. The lions have deferred to her inner strength and self-mastery and know that they will not be harmed. The feminine speaks the language of the heart and is fearless in its truth. The mandalas alive in the background behind her are generated from the patterns of particle collisions. Particle accelerators allow physicists to study subatomic particles by speeding them up in powerful magnetic fields. Then they trace the interactions that result from the collision. That is some Moon and Aquarius shit. It's like, oh, how can we learn more about the universe? By smashing it and witnessing its effects. Enabling them to delve into the mysteries of the universe, the nature of dark matter, and the deep structure of space-time. And I do believe that there's some presuppositions inherent in these statements that I don't fully agree with, because who knows the nature of CERN and what's going on there totally, but sure. These particle mandalas represent the phenomenal power and energy that is embedded in nature. Like a mirror, they reflect the powerhouse of humanity waiting to be released. Power is total and complete in itself, making no demands. It instead gives energy, supplies, supports, and sustains. Very much like the sun, which is what rules Leo, right? The sun isn't really demanding anything of us. It's just exuding energy, sustaining life. It instead gives energy, supplies, supports, and sustains. Its inferior cousin, force, takes it away, incomplete, and always needs to be fed energy from the outside. Power, being whole, needs nothing. The feminine archetype, supremely courageous and heartfelt, in the face of daunting odds, knows how to embrace and accept that which otherwise could be lethal and dangerous. She understands the power of acceptance, trusts it wholeheartedly. From experience, she knows that when we face our fears, very Sun and Mercury in Aries, it's like combat your fears, bring illumination to them. Moon and Aquarius kind of lift up and see how the other side lives, see it from another perspective. When we face and bring light to our shadows, they disappear. That's not to say that she doesn't feel fear, right? To be brave doesn't mean you're not shaking in your boots at some level. Like, you're going to feel some things potentially. That's not, and feeling vibrations is very much what Aquarius is about. Aquarius Moon is about. Doesn't mean we don't feel fear. Merely that she feels and acts in it and acts anyway. Here is the courage, for instance, to face another day when the life of a beloved child has been tragically snatched away. The courage to be in the chaos and meaninglessness of it all. To be in the abyss of life where nothing makes sense. This is the inner strength required when war and natural disasters bring chaos to family and communities, when war crimes seemingly destroy all sense of respect and hope. The strength to carry on with power and integrity. However dreadful the circumstance, love yoked with the power of passion. Strength, therefore, suggests that you have the capacity to endure and overcome the obstacles which are presented to you right now. By calming the negative voices with the breath, very Moon and Aquarius, kind of detach from it to the best of your ability, witnessing the self, that self-talk is a stream of consciousness rather than the truth. You give yourself space to breathe new love. It speaks of being aware and acknowledging the instinctual energies that want to lash out and rage at the injustices of life. Aries Sun, Aries Mercury now, and tempering them with the inner well of love, compassion, and kindness. Hopefully, the distance and coolness, aloofness, or whatever, calmness of the high clarity of the Moon in Aquarius. For what? The value of yourself and others. Namaste, right? This is the Sahasrara chakra. It's like all for one and one for all in this dream. North Node in a Taurus. It asks you to relinquish your doubts, realign with your principles and courage, and thus reveal your true inner strength. So today's card on this Sunday, it's not terribly surprising that it's a Leo card on a Sunday, ruled by the Sun, Leo card. Strength. Trust yourself. Let your inner endurance shine. Use your power to embrace the amazing person within. You have everything within you to succeed. Fear not, as the Bible would say over and over and over again. Didn't mean that there was no bad guys. Rome still crucified Christ, and there were still demons to cast out and all sorts of parables to tell the people who could hear the tales, but for those with ears to hear. But we have to fear not. No fear. I don't know if you guys remember that weird 90s brand. It was kind of a toxic masculine Aries Sun, like eyeballs being like, yeah, I don't give a shit, I'll beat you up kind of mode. But we needed to kind of bring compassion and strength to our fears, not necessarily being bellicose and warlike about it. We got the Nine of Swords. With strength, it's like we need to face our fears, face our nightmares, our shadows, truly. The swords, if you don't know, are the air signs. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This is a clarifying card, I should say also. And the 9 is towards completion of this. 9s are getting to the end, but ain't there yet kind of vibes. And look at the art of the original. I mean, I didn't pull this card, but it's like a woman kind of languishing in this crazy situation, going, oh my God, am I ever... That's how I felt, literally almost the thing I did when I had my second DMT trip. I was talking to some interdimensional wizard, mantid being. Anyway, very scary, but says, investigating your psychological turmoil, questioning your fears, right? How do we question and defeat our fears? We bring light to it. We bring strength and positivity to it. But that's coming from the heart. You can't just outthink your fear. Understanding where it comes from, nightmares and illusions, knowing you are not alone in this feeling, right? You are not alone in feeling like the world is upside down right now. You are not alone in wondering if things are going to stay stable or if they're going to start disintegrating. You're not alone in worrying, right? But we need to bring our hearts online in order to really kind of deal with that, because the Nine of Swords is saying that even though we're consciousness witnessing itself in this hyperdimensional fractal dream, which is beautiful, you know, as within, so without, there are aspects of ourselves that are shadowy. There are aspects of ourselves that literally haven't developed very far and are infantile and kind of fighting over material things and shit like that, and we have to be strong in the face of that. I was watching these dogs for the past few weeks, and 5 3-year-old dogs, and I kind of understand now, in a sense, how to be an alpha with dogs. And there's a type of strength you have to have, right, to be the pack leader, in order so that they don't kind of like nip you and run away and all sorts of stuff that you don't want to have happen, right? The shadow kind of states. So I perceive danger everywhere is what it's saying, though, with the clarifier card. We are firmly aware as we start moving deeper into the dream as a conscious collective, each of us at varying points of collective awareness. Oh, of course, that one dog has now just gotten out of the gate, so I got to probably deal with that in a second. The Nine of Swords is telling us that we are going to confront fears. Like, this life is not something that you can avoid the dark side of the moon, right? It's like if your band starts playing different tunes, if things you don't want to have happen start happening, you can't run from them. You have to confront them and basically control yourself, your emotions, your lusts, your fears, your body, your mind, and be on top of the pyramid, right? Strength card. You gotta kind of own it. We've asked to be here, so we're not victims. And whether you're over here in Auschwitz or over here on Wall Street in the 80s or over here in a submarine during the Cold War or whatever it is, whether you're Andy Warhol being shot or the person shooting Andy Warhol, we have to confront our shadows. That's know thyself, right? Know all aspects of yourself in a very strong and powerful way, right? And when we do that, that's when we really kind of tap into new dimensions of being, and we really kind of get down with the get down, as they say. So let's go ahead and get an animal card. We've got dog. Like I just watched the dog run by, right? So the dog is companionship. And that means that that gate isn't that secure, so I'm going to have to deal with that. Strengthen the gate. Actually, I'll deal with that in a second. So the owners are back, so I feel like this is no longer my issue, but I will deal with it. 41. I fed the chickens this morning out of habit. It's like I'm not having to do that anymore. One of the chickens broke its leg, I think, and we're going to have to put it down, which is sad. So, hey, Haley. She's my companionship. She's my bae, my fiance. So, dog, companionship. Be a firm and ethical friend, right? Stand strong. Notice how strong she is and firm. She's being kind and compassionate, ethical. She's not like whipping these lions and saying, do what I say or else. Haley and I are reading parts, at least the first few books maybe, of the Redwall series, and we're reading, I forget what it's called now, Mossflower. And there's this, Sarmina is her name, and she's a fox, and she's this tyrannical bitch, basically, kind of Circe style. Meets Khaleesi a little, but not with the ambition as much. Although she is ambitious, right? So, anyway, she's not treating her people with kindness. She's subordinating them through fear, 9 of Swords. But we need to be our friends. That's how you have loyalty. That's how you have things work out for your best. When you're a leader and you want things to not submit, but go your way, follow your lead, you have to have inner strength and basically deal with people's fears in a positive way and deal with your fears through what? Companionship, love, right? Namasteing, Sahasrara Chakra Day. Treat others how you want to be treated, kind of thing. And there's a whole spectrum of that. You can hit me up for a reading if you want to know thyself a little more. But Capricorns are going to do a little differently than Aries, which is a little different than Gemini, you know. And it's much more detailed than just kind of Sunday morning newspaper horoscopes. So, I digress. Dog, companionship. Be a firm and ethical friend. Seek loyalty and honesty in your friendships. Moon in Aquarius wants to see the truth, and like it's not about getting all passionate about it. With the Sun in Aries and Mercury in Aries now, we can get very emboldened and be like, this is my truth, I stand strong in my truth, and get kind of like fiery about it. But with the North Node in Taurus, with the Moon in Aquarius, we have to really be kind of keeping that in balance with cool heads prevail kind of thing, that kind of energy. Our friendship should be supportive, not competitive. With Aries Sun, Aries Mercury, our minds are like, I need to win. With Pluto and Capricorn, it's about like getting on the top of the pyramid and ruling the world, potentially. We have to realize that, you know, you get what you give. This side is no different than that side. And maybe they manifest differently and maybe have different kind of articulations of experience and stuff. Karma, as they say. But ultimately, we're all part of one energy field, one consciousness that's experiencing itself, basically. So be kind, right? Be friends. You're going to have enemies. But I've read some great stuff where this interesting book I read last year about some, basically some, I forget what it's called, like the art of the sword or something like that, but some sword master from Japan. And basically they're like, even my enemies I really appreciate. And you see this sometimes in anime where it's like, holy shit, I found somebody that I can really go toe to toe with, and I honor you for that. Even if they don't like, you know, they don't do it out of hate, they do it out of like identity of warriorship, Aries Sun. Not so much like, I'm going to kill you because I'm jealous or something like that. There is a difference between solitude and loneliness, which Aquarius Moon is going to teach us. Something hidden will be illuminated. We all have aspects of ourselves that we do not appreciate or like. Learn to change these things if they do not benefit us, or lovingly accept them, right? So have the strength to confront the things that you don't like in yourself. Have the strength card to basically tackle your demons, Nine of Swords clarifier. But do it in a way that is, befriend your demons, as they said. Make friends with your demons. That's how you defeat these things. You don't let things have power over you, and you don't have laud power over other things. So you just do it through kindness. But I mean, there's a whole spectrum of what that looks like. You don't have to just like sit there and be run over Tiananmen Square style all the time. That's not healthy. It's varying degrees for various people, but ultimately we're all friends walking each other home. Mythos. The great Greek goddess Hecate was a goddess of the underworld and paradoxically a torchbearer who brought the light to this same darkness. Illuminating the darkest pathways, this magnetic goddess invited people to travel the shadows with her, but under her wise guidance. Hecate is often depicted standing at the crossroads with a three-headed dog representing past, present, and future. Hecate was referred to as Skylactican, the lady of the dogs, and Philoskylax, dog-loving. It was said that you could hear the howls of the dogs of the goddess before she appeared to you, and all dogs that passed away went to her to be cared for. Some say she was a lonely goddess passing through the underworld as she did, while others say that with her dogs for company, she could never truly be lonely. The goddess Artemis also had hunting dogs by her side everywhere she went. Cerberus was the great hound that guarded the gates of the underworld for his master, Hades, and the dog is one of the 12 signs of the Chinese zodiac. So the animal itself, though, now. Human associations with dogs is perhaps the most ancient story of companionship and interspecies friendship that exists. The oldest archaeological record of a dog being buried with a human is almost 15,000 years old. In fact, the long relationship with dogs has shaped not just their character, but their genes. Current thinking is that all dogs started off as wolves. The friendly wolves, those willing to get close to human settlements for food, right? They were daring and kind of confronting their fears. I mean, all animals are kind of afraid of people at some level, but eventually they kind of got domesticated, right? The theory right now is like the wolves that were willing to get close to human settlements for food became increasingly more tolerant and friendly, and then evolved over thousands of years and domesticated into the dogs that we know and love today. The wolves that were unfriendly and least tolerant of humans remained wolves. If you have ever seen the look of a wild wolf gives you, a look of utter disregard, you'll understand there is no comparison between a wolf and the loyal and doting dog that you have in your home. Dogs assist us in so many ways. They are part of the family as a friendly companion, but we also use them for protection in the military, as assistants and service dogs, and to guide our way if we are blind. Because of their incredible sense of smell, dogs have been used to assist in hunting, to find lost people, and to detect drugs. It's funny, when I came into Costa Rica, a dog was sniffing my bags. They still use drug dogs. I guess everybody might, but it was very, like I was watching it check my bag out. It was kind of crazy. There are dogs that can smell the chemical changes in the blood of people who are diabetic, dogs that warn their owners of epileptic seizures, and dogs that can smell cancer in urine. There is very little that dogs do not help us with, and we owe them our respect and our loving companionship. So the magic, which is why we're all here, right? Dog magic is loving and warm and protective, which is really what like Leo energy is, strength card, loving, warm, and protective, kind of owning it in a strong way. If you are feeling lonely, very moon in Aquarius, we might feel kind of detached emotionally right now, or you wish to attract good, loyal friends, you can call upon dog energy to help. If you have been betrayed by someone or you feel mistrusted, call upon this energy to heal that. Symbology, three-headed dog, black dog, dog running alongside a person. Statuses of least concern. Clearly there's quite a bit of dogs, 5 of which are on this property that we're in right now. So, and they almost, I mean, these are all like strays that they've kind of adopted here for guard dog purposes. It's a little less than like, oh, we have Lassie. It's more like, oh, this thing will bark and warn us. That's what the locals do. They treat, the owners here treat their dogs a lot better than most Costa Ricans do. Most Costa Ricans don't give a shit about dogs and basically, you know, treat them as living alarm systems. 55 is the hexagram. I've got this in my profile, my Gene Keys profile. If you don't know what that is, check it out. We've had Richard Rudd, the creator of that, on the podcast, and he's also coming back again, so that should be fun. But 55 is plenty, right? What do you have when North Node in Taurus is really activated? You have the strength of love, right? Your fears of lack are diminished. You feel like everybody's your friend, and some even your enemies you honor as like valuable assets to your equal oppositing, or however you want to put that. But plenty is always the case. In terms of I Ching, plenty signifies that inner clarity and worldly success are united insofar as the whole wealth of life can be experienced. That's some Sahasrara looking shit. The whole wealth of life. Look at all those Om symbols. Every aspect of reality can be and will be experienced by you or another. That's kind of what the dream is. This constitutes a true peak of experience for human beings. Once it begins, a beginning in the sense of cosmic cycles of life, the descent renews towards the planes of everyday life. So it goes from like the high to the low. This is an entirely natural phenomenon, and you should not therefore mourn the transitoriness or fortune of success, right? You don't want to live in the fear, Nine of Swords clarifier, that things aren't going to go your way. You want to stand strong in yourself, your selfhood. Aries Sun, Mercury in Aries. Who are you? What are my ideas? Who am I here to be, right? Gather your strength, strength card, gather your strength in order to meet the future challenges before the wheel of fortune takes you to the top again. The work you do now is an investment in the future. Very moon in Aquarius, North Node in Taurus. It's like I want to see how this machine works and feel like I understand how the gauntlet, how to run through the gauntlet, and then make the best moves to get through it with the least amount of damage. The work you do now is an investment in the future. Enjoy plenty for so long as it lasts. And that's the good point. Like, you won't always be rich. The rich become poor, the poor become rich. And it's funny, if all you do is acquire material wealth, maybe you're poor in spirit, right? So everybody's always lacking something, but at the same time, we can't, everybody's always overflowing in most things, really. Like the fact that you can breathe without a respirator, the fact that you can walk without crutches, the fact that you can, you know, communicate your thoughts articulately through a language, even though the culture's heavy and symbolically laden and all this kind of stuff. We're stronger than we ever dreamt. We're all friends walking each other home. Our fear is the, you know, fear is the danger. Fear is the mind killer, right? Moon in Aquarius, your emotions, you need to get some distance on the fears because it'll cripple you, right? The greatest fear is fear itself, or however, you know, I forget the quote from Roosevelt, I think it was. He was like, there's nothing to fear but fear itself, basically, right? So we really do have the ability to transform our realities into something that is more apprehensive of the fact that we have everything we need at all times, and everybody that we meet is a companion, even enemies. It's a weird way to look at it, but there's nothing to ultimately fear. It's just different types of flavors, Sahasrara chakra, of experiences. And you ask for them, so you're never a victim. Instead of being like, oh my gosh, this person left me, or oh my gosh, my bank account isn't as full as I'd like, or oh my gosh, I'm chubby, or oh my gosh, I have a zit, or oh my god, well, these are very material things. Oh my gosh, I'm depressed. That's a spiritual malady. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's like you're disempowering yourself. You're taking away your strength when you do that. You need to step into your power more. So we got Peridot as the card. You can quantumly entangle with this. You don't actually have to own it. I don't. This is what it is. And I think that, well, it's a little weird lighting at the moment, but it is what it is. So, Peridot, what it is, Precious Peridot, a chic type of olivine, very Leo, strength card, right, chic, is like the vitamin D, which is the sun energy, vitamin D of your crystal diet plan. The stone Sunny, there we go, strength card, Sunny, Leo ruled sun, Aries sun, Mercury in Aries. The stone Sunny energy and candy lime hues promote a zest for life. The intensity of Peridot's green shade comes from iron, a metal with an energy that gets things done. Aries sun, right? North Node in Taurus, get it done. Aquarius moon, it's like you're okay with that. Who needs it? Brooders, the lackadaisical, anyone dreading those long winter nights. Where to put it? Wherever you give chase. To love, money, power, joy, whatever your actions, your Mars is your ego, but Mars rules Aries, and it's Aries sun, Aries Mercury, so your mind is going to be ruled a little by your ego right now, as well as your how we're operating the dream, essentially the sun. We're pursuing things actively now, so this is going to help, whether it's joy, power, money, success. You want to do it in a strong way, in a fiery way, strength card. And not be afraid, not like, you want to be aware, moon in Aquarius, of like what could happen, but you don't want to be biting your fingernails trying to confront the dragon. You want to do it with confidence, and it's like, well, if I get burned up and eaten, I guess that's how it goes. When to use it? When you're not applying yourself. Success isn't something to be afraid of. Knight of Swords, right? Strength, dominating like the world in a sense, in a good way. Not domination, that's a weird way to put it, but success, right, isn't something to be afraid of. Knight of Swords. You can be powerful, you can be joyful, you can be rich, you can be healthy. These aren't things that it's a mindset that creates that reality. Success isn't something to be afraid of. You have permission to unabashedly go for it. Sun and Aries. Power up with Peridot and enjoy the ride. This is magnetize your motivation, right? So we really can be more powerful, and we truly are more powerful than we ever dreamt, strength card, but we do let our fears, our past traumas, our nightmares, the boogeyman, right? We let that take us away from our trajectories. What we really need to do is understand there's a time and a season for everything, and even if you're at the low point, you have friends, companions, and even at the low points, like in the Bible, King David lost his kingdom, his kids were trying to kill him, he had to hide in a cave for a hot minute, and he's like, what the fuck's going on, God? This is like in the Psalms, I think, somewhere. And he's just kind of being like, what the fuck? I was told I was going to be king, blah, blah, blah. He basically makes an army out of all these people hiding up in the mountains, and they take back the kingdom, and he reigns again. He has strength. But the strength was through his fear of like betrayal, being outcast, outnumbered, all this stuff. He rose from the ashes, to everything there's a season, and he found friends in places by motivating them, magnetizing his motivation, right? And in some weird way, that's the dream that they wanted to dream. It's like, oh, I want to experience how it feels to be ostracized and then come back, return to source. And that's really what we're all doing. We're splitting off from the source, having an individual experience, right? Witnessing a particular flavor, and then going back to the kingdom of God within us, if you want to put it that way. So I hope that you find the strength today to overcome your fears, whether it's the fear of public speaking, whether it's the fear of getting into a workout. It's not fun to work out. Unless you're like a real Aries or something like that. Working out, unless you're vain, like a Leo, you're like, I just want my six pack. Working out isn't the most fun, at least not for me. I'm an air sign, so I'm just like, I don't give a shit about this. But it actually, confronting the shadow of that, right, and being like, I want to be the best I can be and bring this ascension kind of in my own life, caused me to befriend and make a companion of working out. It's a challenge. I find inner strength now that I didn't think I had. And it's really funny because there's like, when you're getting to like 50 push-ups or whatever, it's like you're starting to grunt in a very particular way, like a weightlifter's, like in the gym. But that's how you magnetize your motivation, right? You have to find it in your heart, strength card. Your heart's going to have shadows in it. Your heart is pure, but it's got distortions all around it. Let's put it that way. So it's like we need to tap into our strength, deal and accept, make friends essentially with, befriend our distortions, know where we're at in our seasons, holler for a reading if you want to kind of get your bearings, pour moi. And magnetize your motivation. Just like this is, consciousness is emanating in this sense, but also potentially magnetizing all things to it. So we need to, how do you walk in strength and honor and integrity? Sometimes you have to fake it till you make it, right? And that means confronting the falseness in yourself, or confronting how you don't feel strong enough, or don't feel proud enough, or don't feel capable. And you just confront that shit bit by bit. You befriend yourself and you find others who are supporting to you in your cause, your dream, your vision, and are willing to articulate in a truthful way, Aquarius moon, hopefully a detached way, something you don't take too personally, how you can improve yourself. And you get that motivation from yourself and others, and you magnetize it, and it enhances, it becomes this feedback loop. You're not always going to be on top, right? That's what I was saying in the I Ching. It's like sometimes when you're at the low point, it's time to gather your resources and be grateful for it. Rich become poor, poor become rich kind of thing. But you always have more than you think. You're stronger than you ever dreamt. You're a light in the darkness. We all are. And it's just a matter of how hidden are you to yourself and others. So find your strength, really kind of confront your nightmares and fears. Know that you're going to be moving through evolution, right? Ascending over time. It's not just a one and done kind of thing. Find friends along the road, like Ram Dass says, we're all walking each other home, and magnetize your motivation. Find ways to get your heart online. Whether it's a theme song that gets you going. I mean, why do you think Eye of the Tiger is so popular? It gets people ready to kick ass, right? And the whole montage with Rocky Balboa in those films, running up the art museum steps of Philadelphia, which I haven't really even seen the movies, I don't think, maybe one, but we all know what I'm talking about, right? So that's showing, he had to overcome, I'm not strong enough, I'm gonna have to go up against this crazy dude. And I'm thinking now of Dolph Lundgren and the whole Cold War kind of, thing. Maybe that's Rocky 3 or something like that. But the point is, you have to overcome the weaknesses and fears inside of you to be strong. That doesn't mean you dominate them. That means you become friends with them. And you control them through what? Understanding, compassion, love. And that is how you magnetize more and more and more. Goodness, health, wealth, prosperity, love, abundance. It's all there anyway. It's like in a seed. All the power of the future is in that seed, but it has to be given the right conditions to sprout. That's why Jesus said, he's like, oh, this guy threw a bunch of seeds out. Everybody has equal potential, right? Look at all these seeds in the field. Wow, 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 wow. This guy is sitting, it is what it is, but this guy's sitting in a fucking mud hut in a third world country. His potential isn't going to probably be the same necessarily in a material way as the person on Wall Street or whatever. And that's a weird material kind of example. But the whole point is everybody's conditions, spiritually, internally, as well as externally, dictate the progress and process of their seedhood. And you have strength in you. You have more strength. The power, the tree is in the seed. You see what I'm saying? The strength, the power of the tree, the sequoia is in the seed, and you wouldn't know that just by looking at it. So look in the mirror today with the moon in Aquarius, kind of be self-reflective. With it being a Sunday, you can really get into your soul. You can really understand that you have many phases, like the moon. You have many articulations. You are everything that you've ever witnessed in some abstract way. And try to kind of come to terms with the fact that there's things that are holding you back that you're afraid of. And to be honest with yourself, get some accountability for, there's blind spots we all have. Whether you get a reading from me or you talk to your family or friends or pray or whatever, try to ask for the willingness and ability to see your blind spots, handle them, and transmute them. That's pretty much what we're being told to do on the daily, right? So minute by minute. So if you've enjoyed this, tag people, like it, share it, whatever's clever. If you found it helpful for you, I'm sure somebody else may as well. Leaving a tip is always cool. Energy exchange is where it's at. If you want a reading, $33 for an hour of cards, $88 for 3 hours of astrology, and $111 for both. And check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast. We're getting we just had Kaipacha Lesher on for the second time. Fascinating kind of conspiratorial astrological discussion about Charles Schwab, the World Health Organization, the jab, all this stuff. I'm sure most people who are watching this are aware of the fact that the drummer for the Foo Fighters just died, and realized that Dave Grohl was very much like, only people who are jabbed can come to our concert. You reap what you sow, right? But we're all here doing the best we can, hopefully. Even if you make 666 devil movies or whatever Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters just dropped, you're still part of the dream. So we have to be compassionate and strong in the face of all of it. So I hope you guys have a beautiful Sunday and enjoy the rest of your day. And I will catch y'all on the flip side. Adios. Bye.